Pretend that this morning in a meeting with your manager, you were assigned a project for the next quarter. Your manager wants you to submit your project plan by the end of the week to make sure your goals are aligned. You look up from your desk and it's 6:30 p.m. and you realize you've spent the entire day figuring out how to format your plan in your word processor. Does this ring a bell? It sure does for me. I used to spend days organizing my projects into pretty little tables and emailing my colleagues about their involvement before I ever even started planning this project. I'm here to tell you that there is a better way. So let's create a project plan with Quip. Here, you'll see a title, a process bar to track my progress, a list of my colleagues involved in the project, a purpose statement, and lastly, a project tracker. I like to say, start simple. Just like writing your essay in 9th grade, start with your outline or foundation of what you're looking to build. For our example, let's say you're tasked with updating the video library on your support site after a recent change to your user interface. The first thing you'll want to do is create a new document. Click to create a new document, and you'll be starting with a blank page, but don't let this scare you. Let's start by simply titling our project. Something like Update Video Library. Next, click Enter. You'll notice it states type at to insert, and this is where we'll start with our process bar. Simply type the at key by clicking Shift and the number 2, and mention process bar. You'll see the process bar appear as an option on the drop-down menu. Click Enter to insert the process bar. You can adjust what's mentioned here by simply typing it in. For example, not started, in progress, and submitted for review. We can always add a new step by selecting Add Step and type in Complete. You can also change the color of the process bar at any time. For example, if you want to make it green, go right ahead. I always like to include a section for RASCI, or Responsible, Accountable, Support, Consulted, or Information. Here's a pro tip. If you'd like to add in bullet points, simply type Shift and the number 8, and a bullet will be added. You can add additional bullets by simply hitting Enter. This is super helpful when thinking about who's involved in your projects and getting them in the loop early. Since your document will automatically be housed in your private folder, feel free to mention your colleagues here, knowing that they will not be notified until you explicitly share this document with them. For example, I can type my own name as responsible since this is my project. If Sue Marketing is accountable, I can add her in here, and you'll see her name appears in gray here. She does not have access to this document, as denoted by this gray icon, until I explicitly share the document with her when I'm ready. This allows you to create your project plans completely before sharing it for feedback. Next, I like to add a purpose statement so that when I do share my project plan with the team, there's a brief synopsis or reminder about the project and why we're doing it. For example, I can update the existing YouTube channel with engaging and relevant videos that help our customers feel enabled to take action and Quip. Now recall when I showed you the completed project plan earlier in the video. Did you notice that I have 2 columns for RASCI and my purpose statement? Here's a quick formatting trick for you. To create columns on your document, simply select the paragraph icon here and click and hold it. You'll see a blue box appears. Now drag that box upwards to create a column, while still clicking and holding, such as right next to the RASCI column. You can also add multiple columns depending on what you need. You can do the same thing with images. If you add an image, simply click and drag the image to the area of the document you want. Lastly, you'll want to add a project tracker to list out your milestones for the project. Do you remember how to add live apps to your document? That's right, you use the @mention key. Start typing in Project Tracker and you'll see it appear from the drop-down menu here. Select Enter, and this will automatically drop in the project tracker. You have the ability to adjust the headers, add or remove headers, as well as change the format of the headers on the project tracker. For our example, let's make column 1 milestone. For the first milestone, you might assess the status of the channel. The second column is owner, where I might make myself the owner by simply typing in my name. I'll see my name appear, and I am now the owner of this milestone. If there are multiple people working on this part of the project, you can start typing in their name here too, like Sue Marketing, for example, and now we're co-owners. I can select a pre-created status or add my own. For example, I can select upcoming, in progress, complete, or add a new status, for example, blocked. I can even change the color of the status, for example, red. This indicates to me that there is an issue with this project. Next, I'll select my deadline for this milestone. For example, December 14th. Now, perhaps I want a last column for a notes or text field instead of these attachments. I can simply delete the column and add a new column and call it a text column. Let's title that Notes, and I can link additional documents here when I'm ready. For example, I can add my content request document to this milestone. This will immediately link me to the appropriate document within Quip. Now I'll continue to input the details of my milestones until my project plan is complete by repeating the steps I mentioned earlier. Now, once my project plan is ready for feedback, I can add it to my shared folder with my team or simply share it with my boss for feedback before sharing it more broadly. By simply using the sharing icon, I can determine what to do with it, either by adding my boss or moving it to my shared folder. Once I share that document, my boss can easily access the document, provide feedback through inline comments or the conversation pane. Now that you know how to create a project plan in Quip, go try it yourself. Create a plan for an upcoming project and share it with your team for feedback. Be sure to add those involved in the project directly on the document so you can start collaborating faster and get more work done with Quip.